German-born theoretical physicist Albert Einstein, is regarded as one of the greatest and most important physicists of all time. Together, relativity and quantum mechanics form the foundation of contemporary physics. The relativity theory-derived mass-energy equivalence formula he developed, E equals mc2, has been labeled the most famous equation in the world. His discovery of the law of the photoelectric effect, which was a crucial milestone in the development of quantum theory, earned him the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics. Albert Einstein would say, "Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute, and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour, and it seems like a minute." That's relativity. Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. I am Albert Einstein. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Logic will get you from A to Z, imagination will get you everywhere. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. Never memorize something that you can look up. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what, then, is an empty desk a sign? Try not to become a man of success. Rather become a man of value. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. Nothing is more destructive of respect for the government and the law of the land than passing laws which cannot be enforced. God always takes the simplest way. I do not believe in the God of theology who rewards good and punishes evil. That deep emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power, which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe, forms my idea of God. Morality is of the highest importance, but for us, not for God. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. If people are good only because they fear punishment, and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. You never fail until you stop trying. The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain, children, all our lives. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Love is a better teacher than duty. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. We still do not know 1/1000% of what nature has revealed to us. When the solution is simple, God is answering. I cannot imagine a God who rewards and punishes the objects of his creation and is but a reflection of human frailty. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. I shall never believe that God plays dice with the world. God may be subtle, but he isn't plain mean. People love chopping wood. In this activity one immediately sees results. Perfection of means and confusion of ends seem to characterize our age. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. It is my conviction that killing under the cloak of war is nothing but an act of murder. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. Before God, we are all equally wise, and equally foolish. The environment is everything that isn't me. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there's no risk of accident for someone who's dead. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion. The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift toward unparalleled catastrophe. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. The best way to cheer yourself is to cheer somebody else up. Everything must be made as simple as possible. But not simpler. When you trip over love, it is easy to get up. But when you fall in love, it is impossible to stand again. I salute the man who is going through life always helpful, knowing no fear, and to whom aggressiveness and resentment are alien. I am Albert Einstein. A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there's no risk of accident for someone who's dead. Black holes are where God is divided by zero. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. In the middle of difficulty lies the opportunity. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. Imagination is the highest form of research. Intellectuals solve problems, geniuses prevent them. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right, a single experiment can prove me wrong. The search for truth is more precious than its possession. I always get by best with my naivety, which is 20% deliberate. A happy man is too satisfied with the present to dwell too much on the future. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. Nothing truly valuable arises from ambition or from a mere sense of duty, it stems rather from love and devotion toward men and toward objective things. Weak people revenge. Strong people forgive. Intelligent people ignore. All I have is the stubbornness of a mule. No, that's quite all, I also have a nose. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead, his eyes are closed. The man of science is a poor philosopher. Don't listen to the person who has the answers, listen to the person who has the questions. The only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance. Long live impudence. It's my guardian angel in this world. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. When I am judging a theory, I ask myself whether, if I were God, I would have arranged the world in such a way. The man of science is a poor philosopher. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. A person starts to live when he can live outside himself. As far as I'm concerned, I prefer silent vice to ostentatious virtue. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. As for the search for truth, I know from my own painful searching, with its many blind alleys, how hard it is to take a reliable step, be it ever so small, towards the understanding of that which is truly important. Each of us has to do our little bit toward transforming the spirit of the times. A new type of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive and move toward higher levels. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, and giving birth to evolution. It is, strictly speaking, a real factor in scientific research. A person who is religiously enlightened appears to me to be one who has, to the best of his ability, liberated himself from the fetters of his selfish desires and is preoccupied with thoughts, feelings, and aspires. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. There are two means of refuge from the misery of life: music and cats. I believe in one thing, that only a life lived for others is a life worth living. With fame, I become more and more stupid, which of course is a very common phenomenon. Why is it that nobody understands me, yet everybody likes me? The high destiny of the individual is to serve rather than to rule. The value of achievement lies in achieving. 3 rules of work: out of clutter find simplicity, from discord find harmony, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. To raise new questions, and new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination and marks real advances in science. I lived in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in maturity. On the mysterious, it is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. He who knows it not and can no longer wonder, no longer feel amazement, is as good as dead, a snuffed-out candle. Information is not knowledge. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger, more complex, and more violent. It takes a touch of genius, and a lot of courage, to move in the opposite direction. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. The ideals which have lighted me on my way and time after time given me new courage to face life cheerfully, have been truth, goodness, and beauty. The only real valuable thing is intuition. The only source of knowledge is experience. I want to know God's thoughts, the rest are details. The most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. You have to learn the rules of the game. And then you have to play better than anyone else. Where there's a will, there's a way. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. A little knowledge is dangerous. So is a lot. One flower is beautiful, a surfeit of flowers is vulgar. The idle man does not know what it is to enjoy rest. The only way to escape the corruptible effect of praise is to go on working. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. Each of us visits this earth involuntarily, and without an invitation. For me, it is enough to wonder about the secrets. Be creative, but make sure that what you create is not a curse for mankind. If the facts don't fit the theory, change the facts. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. The grand aim of all science is to cover the greatest number of empirical facts by logical deduction from the smallest number of hypotheses or axioms.